So when you go on your My UC Davis portal, one of the windows will be My Schedule. So go ahead and click Schedule Builder, and it'll go ahead and open up the Schedule Builder window so that you can create a schedule for fall 2020. So once you choose your academic term, you can go ahead and begin adding courses. As you can see here, I've already added a few courses that I think will be fitting for my time at UC Davis. Since I'm not a student, my Pass 1 registration will not allow me to register for any of these classes, but usually Pass 1 will show up in this area, and it'll give you a time frame for when you can register for courses. So be sure to put that in your calendar, in your alarm clock, so that that's available to you. So we'll go ahead and get started with adding courses. So the way that I added, for instance, chemistry, is you can do it in two ways. You can either type in, if you know the subject code, chemistry, which is CHE, or you can use the subject drop-down option right there. Great, and then go ahead and hit search. And now all of the courses that are in the chemistry department will show up for fall term. So as you can see, there's a ton of chemistry A sections, as well as chemistry B, which will be later down the way. There is a lot of chemistry 2A sections. And so what's important on this kind of page is you want to look at the important details of the course. So it'll note, for instance, what workload chemistry would look like, or the course materials fee. So for the lab section, there is a course materials fee of $24, and students must be prepared to participate on the first day of lab. So attending class, wearing appropriate laboratory attire, and also being aware of the protective equipment that they will need for the first day. So in here, you can see the description of the course, so what the course will be focusing on, the limitations, so you can't take Chem 2A and Chem 2A honors concurrently, and also the prerequisites. So this course requires a placement test. So when you go to register, you'll see some of the courses will restrict you from registration if you haven't already completed your placement test. So be sure to look at the links that they provide for you, as well as pay attention to Aggie 101 and what your advisors are recommending you do to prepare for registration. It'll also note the GE courses that it'll fulfill. So we could see qualitative literacy, science and engineering, and science literacy. And then here it'll have the lecture, the workload sections, or it'll also have the laboratory, laboratory discussion sections on here. Great, so what you want to do when you're on this page is read through the important details and then hit save. When you hit save, it automatically goes onto your schedule so that you can look at it and have it for reference. And if it's fitting for your schedule, you can register for it. So as you can see, when I chose this option, when I added the chemistry option, it says, since I already have communications 1, it says that there's a time conflict with CRN 25147. So it's actually down here. So this chemistry, there's a time conflict. And it'll also tell you here, Schedule Builder is really nice about telling you the errors that's coming up and giving you clear instructions on how to navigate through them. So since this chemistry doesn't work with my already existing schedule, I'm going to go ahead and drop it. So you can use your action item or your drop-down action box to choose one of these drop-down options. So you can either register for it, remove it, pre-check with registration, or register with a PTA. A PTA is a petition to add code. So let's say that you miss the add deadline, or there's a class that's conflicting with your section, but you spoke with both professors. One of the course administrators will give you a PTA so that you can override that conflict. So since that's conflicting, I'm going to go ahead and drop it from my schedule. Same thing with communications and math. You can either look up the schedule on here or using the drop down. So we're going to look for math, mathematics, perfect, search. And similar to chemistry, there's going to be a lot of discussion and lecture sections available. For the GDB, animal biology, and entomology majors, we encourage students to look at the 17 or 21 series. So in this case, I chose 16A. Again, I took a look at the course notes as well as the limitations, and also saw that the GEs are listed on there. Great, so it's on there. Let me go ahead and drop communications just so that you can see how I added that onto my schedule. So this is the list view of Schedule Builder. If you want to see what it looks like week by week or on your calendar, you can go ahead and hit View, Calendar View, and then it'll list, okay, great. So my math lecture is right before my chemistry discussion, and this is what my lab looks like. And then what's also nice about this is it'll list for you when the final exams are. So as you know, there's 10 weeks in the quarter, and on the week following the last week of the quarter, there's final exams. So let's see, chemistry is on Monday and math is on Friday. I would be sure to, just as you're double checking if you're seeing any conflicts on here, check if your final exam has any conflicts, or if you have multiple final exams on one day. That's something to take into consideration when you're registering for classes, because you don't want to be too overwhelmed when it comes to final season. Great, so that's kind of searching it up by code. If, for instance, you're interested in taking a GE course, another way that you can search for things is going by the Show Advanced Options. And on here, there's more categories for you to kind of play with to find the right class for you or the right schedule for you. So for GE specifically, I like to narrow the course level down to 1 to 99 so that it shows the lower division coursework, and it's typically more introductory coursework. For the meeting section, there's many different types of ways that courses meet. The most common would be discussion, laboratory, lecture, and seminar. I usually leave this blank just because I want to be available for all the meeting types. And for include, I would like to only look at open courses so that we could see what those open courses are first before having to waitlist for a course. So you can check here for GDB and animal biology and entomology. I will say that the science and engineering GEs will mostly be fulfilled through your prerequisites like chemistry, biz, and math, as well as physics and other courses. So you don't have to worry about that. The ones that you really want to focus on are arts and humanities and social sciences. So I went ahead and clicked both so that it'll show all of the courses that have both of those topical breaths in. And when I hit search, a comprehensive list, while it loads, a comprehensive list of the courses will appear, listing, the how many seats are open, how many seats are, or how many people are on the wait list, the lecture, the discussion, and who's teaching. So, for instance, this is Asian American Studies. We could see that, okay, it's an introduction to Asian American Studies. Some of the GEs that they fulfill are arts and humanities, domestic diversity, social sciences, and the rest. We can also see that there are no restrictions on this, so this might be a good introductory course to take. And we can go ahead and save that. So we'll see if this works with our schedule. So once it's saved, we can close this window and we can see, okay, great. So it minimizes kind of the space in between courses. So we have ASA right before chemistry. There are some big gaps in between, so that might be something to take into consideration. If you want to change the section that you're in or the course that you're in, you can look at your previously saved courses right here on the right-hand side, and you can navigate. So let's say this is too close to chemistry, I want to have more time, or it's too early for me. We could see what other courses are available. So in this case, it shows that lecture is 12:10 to 1:30, so this is not super movable, but the discussion can either be later or earlier. So Wednesday, Tuesday, let's see if there's a nice one. Okay, great. So this one is 3:40 to 4:30 on Thursdays. And when we check it, we could see, okay, great, it's right after chemistry. And I'd rather take this discussion as opposed to one that's later in the day on Wednesday when pretty much my day is done after 9 a.m. So you can go to the course that you don't want, and under the action items, you can drop it. So remove it, and then it updates. And then let's check our final exams. Okay, great. So there's a lot of space in between, and that looks nice to me. Once you have a schedule, You can always keep that schedule, or you can create another schedule as a backup. So let's say it comes to your pastime and all of the seats are being filled. So you're not able to get the section that you want or the courses that you want. You can create a new schedule. Let's do Schedule B, and it'll completely start over. So you can save some of the courses that are saved here. You can add them into your section. I can't remember which one it was, but let's say you want to add Chem 2A at these times. And then instead of ASA, you wanted to take communications. Okay, great. And then we'll add math. Perfect. So there's no conflicts. Let's take a look at the final exam. Okay, great. There's a lot of space in between them. That looks nice to me. And so that's another way to create another schedule. And all the schedules will be listed on here, just so that you can navigate between each schedule. And before you go through your registration, it's a good idea to look up on here and select the pre-check registration option, because this option will give you any information on if there's conflicting courses, conflicting final exams, or if you haven't fulfilled the prerequisites to take any of those classes. Because I am not a registered student, I'm a staff member, it shows that I've completed Math 21A when I was an undergrad, but it does not give me any other information as well as my registration time. So it'll look different for you, definitely. But the pre-check registration is a good tool to use before your pastime, so that when it comes to your pastime, you can go ahead and register all. And hopefully it'll register all of your courses. Right now I can't register it because it's not during my pastime. So that's a little bit of some tips while navigating Schedule Builder. If you have more questions, you could always refer to the help button up here. And what's nice is Schedule Builder gives you a breakdown of how to use each one of these features. So we didn't go over section/course swap. So if you wanted to do that, it'll show you some instructions, and it's relatively easy. The reason we didn't go over it is because it's only available to students who are registered in courses. So under your actions button, you can choose, let's say you don't want to drop the course because you want to keep your seat in the class, but you want to change the discussion section. So you can swap sections or courses using that. So it's, once you're registered for it, it's the actions button and swap section and course, and a window will pop up for you to look for the new course that you want to add in or the new section that you want to add in. So that's a little bit of how to navigate Schedule Builder. Please feel free to reach out to any one of our advisors. We're happy to meet with you virtually and go over some more of these, fine-tuned details and nuancing your schedule a little bit. Again, my name is Francesca, and I hope this was helpful. Welcome to UC Davis, and we're happy to have you.